And right, writing process, I think one of the core ideas for me when I'm writing or when I'm sitting down to write is to write like I'm talking to a friend, right? And I don't really write with a general sense in mind that this article or this idea that I'm talking about should touch everyone's life. I don't aim to do that, right? My idea is that if my post or my articles can touch just one life, right, per day, right, I think that's a good enough target to be met for me. I think I'm very happy when people write to me that they were going through some situation where the article which I wrote recently, right, had really changed their perspective, and I think that's all I need, right? So writing like I'm talking to a friend, writing very simple stuff in a world where complexity is rewarded and simplicity is not really talked about, right? Because what I've learned is that if you can write simply, it means that you are thinking simply, right? If you are thinking complex stuff and if you have too many ideas in your mind, right, it's very difficult to put them into a coherent piece of writing, right? So saying no to a lot of information and ideas that get into your mind, like Sherlock Holmes said, right, it's your brain attic that you have on top, right? And you have a lot of furniture which is stacked there, right? The more you get, the more new furniture you get into your brain attic, the more you need to move out of the existing furniture, right? So the more ideas and the more information I try to get into my brain, all the good ideas and information and wisdom that has been collected there for the last many years would move out, and that really has kept me away from a lot of noise, newspapers, and all those kind of things, right? So that really helps. Reading a lot helps, right? So a part of writing process, I think it's a very important part of the writing process, is that your writing improves if you read a lot, right? Because when you are reading good stuff, right, when you are writing, if you're copying from the book by hand, I think that's one trick which I use, right? When I love a passage, right, I copy it down by hand in terms of feeling how the tone feels like, in terms of understanding how the words flow, right? The words are like music to the ears, right? And that gradually becomes a part of your own process, right? Then otherwise, there, of course, there are tools and techniques in terms of writing an active voice and not using much of adverbs and using the FK test, which is on Microsoft Word and even I think on Mac as well. So those tools and techniques have really helped. But the idea is to write simply, write for a friend in a very conversational language, and then of course using the famous Feynman technique, right, where if you need to really learn an idea, you need to learn it so well that you can explain to a 5-year-old child, right? If the child understands, you've really learned the idea. If the child does not understand, you need to go back to your original idea. You need to learn it even better, right, so that the child understands in the second or the third or the fourth instance, right? So using the Feynman technique of writing, of being very simple in your ideas, right, trying to learn them very thoroughly, right? Keep learning. I think that's what Charlie Munger's idea is all about, right? You need to be a lifelong machine, lifelong learning machine, right? So overall, all these things combine to create the writing process. I would not say there's a checklist which I follow every time I write, but I think that has become part of my writing process after learning about it, after writing for almost 11 years. Not 11 years, I've been writing for the last 19 years. But the kind of writing which I'm doing on Safal Niveshak, I've been doing for the past 13, 14 years. So I think that has really helped. Writing a lot has helped a lot.
Yeah, and the second part of the question was how it has helped you become a better investor. So how do you link it to investing?
No, I think if you go back and look at the best investors in the world, whether the Charlie Munger or Warren Buffett or Howard Marks or Seth Klarman and all those kind of things, they have been great writers as well, right? So I'm not sure what came first for them, but I think it feeds into the right. Investing feeds into good investing, thinking feeds into your writing, and then good writing, which is based on good thinking, also feeds into investing, right? My idea is that whenever you're researching a stock, whenever you are preparing a thesis, you should not be preparing a 10-page thesis or Excel modeling. All you can do that, right? But if you cannot summarize your thesis in 100 words in a very simple language that you can explain to a child, right? Not forcibly, but yeah, you can really explain to a child. I think that is where you understand what you are getting into, right? If you cannot explain to a child a investment thesis, right, why you are making investment, the one that you're making, I think you still need to fine tune your investment thinking. So I think like Buffett says that being a businessman has made him a better investor, and being an investor has made him a better businessman. I think that also goes with writing. I think being a good investor has helped me become a better writer, and being a better writer or over a period of time has helped me in terms of fine tuning my investment thinking. Right? Because as I mentioned, the most important thing that I follow is trying to be as simple as possible in my communication, in my investing. And I think that has helped. So
Thank you.
there's a cross connection. Yeah.
Moving on, Vishal, Safal Niveshak has gone through a lot of changes over the years, and along the way, it has touched the lives of many people. How do you see it 10 years from now? And why I'm asking this question to you is because your recent posts and the wonderful 1% show revolve more around the thinking process and lifestyle rather than investing. So, if you could dwell more upon this one point, that would be great for all of us.
No, I think it's good that you talked about the 1% show, because that has gradually been my philosophy. So I've never thought in terms of 10 years. Even when I'm looking at business investing, I am investing in them gradually now forever, like in the sense that if the business remains good, I'm not going to sell it. But I also try to understand where the business may go, right? Broadly over the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But when it comes to living a life, when it comes to running Safal Niveshak, I have never created a 10-year or 5-year or even a 1 month goal, right? I just keep working, keep doing stuff. Any idea comes in, I just try to implement it if I think that makes sense and I can sustainability do for a longer period of time. I have started stuff. I have closed them randomly. If you remember, since you've been reading Safal Niveshak, I used to do stock talk earlier, right? And I did multiple version of stock talk, and I tried to improvise, but then I was not really comfortable with that idea. And I'm sure you're going to ask me a question about that. But I was not really comfortable with that idea, and I closed it because I had no one to answer to. Right? That's the best part about working for yourself. You can start things, you can end things. There's no one you need to be accountable for to answer for except yourself. Right. So the 1% show and the 1% idea is what I have always believed in, that you need to work on the systems. You need to work on that 1% improvement daily rather than focusing on where you want to be. Right. uh, I think I'm not sure who said it, but someone wise really said that we are not nouns, we are verbs, right? Nouns is like I want to be the best investor, or I want to be a fund manager, or I want to be an investment writer, right? Verb is I want to write, I want to manage money, I want to advise stuff, which means what you are doing now, right? Rather than where you want to be, right? So also talking about what Manish Chokhani, I think, mentioned in the first episode of the 1% show, right? The purpose of life is to just flow, right? You like a river, right? You don't know where you're going to end up, right? And you don't want to worry about that, right? Wherever you can flow, despite all the hurdles, you keep flowing, I think, and you'll find where you want to reach. And I think that is what has been my philosophy. So same with Safal Niveshak. I've no idea where I'll be 10 years down the line of Safal Niveshak, whether it'll be existing in the same way or not. Right. I've started gradually moving more towards much broader things. Right. As I age, I think I understand that there's a great benefit in zooming out a lot of things, right? Rather than focusing on micromanaging your life or micromanaging your investments. I think the idea is to zoom out on things, zoom out on life, and look at much more broader aspects, right? Try to be probably more philosophical, right? I think I enjoy doing that. I enjoy being more philosophical in the way I look at life, and I think that really shows up in my work, I think, as well. So I'm not saying that I'm going to shut down Safal Niveshak. I may shut down Safal Niveshak someday, but my idea is to talk and write more about the bigger aspects of life, and that is what that I'm sure if you've seen this 1% show, the kind of questions which I ask to my guests, I think they revolve more about zooming out on life, the bigger aspects of life, much bigger than investing, right? So I think that is something which I have always been doing, gradually probably being attracted to, not now, but always being attracted to something which is not related to money, which is not related to materialistic thing. Though I am working in the materialistic space of finance, but uh, probably my heart is not here. Right? My mind is here. I want to earn money. I want to get richer. Perfectly fine, right? And I sell courses, right? I see a lot of people searching out in every how and how can you sell Buffett and Munger's advice when everything is available free. I'm perfectly fine, right? Like everyone else, I'm a human being, right? I want to make my family happier. I want to take my kids to Disneyland, right? And if you need to buy, if you want to buy my course, buy my newsletters, you're perfectly welcome. If not, you're perfectly welcome. So I've done my thing. I've done things my own way, right? I'm not really bothered about whatever people are saying. I invite people to send me their feedback, suggestion, criticism. I